And welcome to the Super Terb Podcast. I'm your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Turbot Group, Coalbanger HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb. And I'm here with my featured guest today, Anthony Johnson, owner of Southern Seasons Heating and Air Conditioning right here locally in the Triangle. Say what's up.
Hey, how y'all doing?
I was so excited to have Anthony here on our podcast. He and his wife, Crystal, are the backbone of our – actually what you guys help us with all of our clients, with all of our inspections. We'll get into that here a little bit later. But I just thought it was very important for you to come on, man. Would love for you to tell your story and just talk about what all Southern Season has to offer. Again, local business here that, you offer maintenance, service repairs, replacements, new construction, mechanical installation. But I'll tell you what, as a real estate agent, been doing this a very long time, and realtors in general, it's very hard to find a very good HVAC company, especially one of those that will provide great service to our clients, inspections. But I can't tell you the referrals that I've given out just for my friends. Say, hey, man, my air's out. And I know you're going to do a great job. But we're going to get all that in a second here, okay? Yep. But before I start, I always like to do a real estate update. And, guys, what I want to talk about today, because I can't believe it's already mid-September, what we were doing yesterday, we were doing buyer consultations already for next year. We had buyers in yesterday, and their leases are up in February, and they're getting the game plan together now. So what I wanted to reach out to you guys today out there in Apple, Spotify, YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram land is that it's hard to believe we're in the fourth quarter. We're in the fourth quarter, right? It's crazy. And that the new year will be upon us. Feds are meeting on the 18th. Everybody's expecting a rate cut. We shall see. We don't know how that's going to affect the mortgage rates altogether, but we're expecting them to come down. It's not a matter of if, it's when. And you don't want to be out there seeing that dream home and you're not having a game plan ready to buy. So reach out to us. We'd love to set up a consultation for you. If you need anybody anybody out there that's also looking to buy, let us know. We'd be honored to help them accomplish their real estate goals. On the flip side, if you're thinking about selling it all for the early next year, you're waiting to get through the holidays, January, February timeframe, let's start that conversation now. We can start looking at your home, see what things we need to do. Top 3 things to do is declutter, paint, carpet. Let's get that game plan together, and we'll knock it out. So in saying all that, we're going to take a quick break. We're on the other side. We're going to have Anthony Johnson with Southern Seasons Heating and Air. And welcome back to the Super Terb Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Turbot Group, Coalbanger HPW, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb. And I'm here with Anthony Johnson. Say what's up.
Hey, how are you?
I know I've said your name about 16 times, but you can tell your name and where you're from.
So my name's Anthony Johnson. I am from North Carolina originally, actually.
All right, now. And how long have you had Southern Seasons Heating and Air? That's a little bit of a tongue twister, but I like it.
It is. Started the business 8 years ago.
8 years ago.
8 years.
Does it seem like it's just flown by?
Some days. Other days it feels like it's been an eternity.
What did you do before Southern Seasons?
I worked for a company in Durham called Hayes Heating and Air, and prior to that, I was at Raleigh Heating and Air, and prior to that, I was in school for heating and air and working with my father doing commercial refrigeration.
Wow! So you've been in that business for a while here. So then what made you finally say 8 years ago, say, hey, you know what, Terb, I was ready to make the jump to start my own business?
So I was very blessed to stumble into the job at Hayes Heating and Air, to be very candid, as when I worked with them, they allowed me to do side work. Not only did they allow it, they actively encouraged it, which allowed me to build a business on the side, if you will, as a nights and weekends kind of operation. And then it just got to the point where I was losing money going to my good paying day job and decided to step out on my own full time 5 years ago.
That is awesome. Now, when you guys started you stepped out on your own, what would you say? What maybe prevented you from doing it sooner, or maybe what were the biggest challenges?
So I had wanted to step out a year earlier, but Hayes had some turnover in the service department, and I was the lead service tech. And I felt a good amount of loyalty to them, considering all that they had done for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to leave them high and dry going into the busy season, to be very candid. So I stuck it out. I went out and recruited some service techs, helped them get staff back up and, ready to roll. And then it was my time. When I first started out, I was very fortunate that I had already built a business on the side. So leaving Hayes, there wasn't really a drop off for me because I had already built the customer base. So when we started focusing on it, full time. We just hit the ground running. But I mean, it was also, COVID came upon us very quickly thereafter. So that was a whole ordeal in itself.
No, that's awesome. So tell everybody out there what you guys offer. I know it's a wide array, but there may be things we don't even know about.
Yeah, so I mean, we do focus on residential, service, system replacement, residential new construction. We do some commercial work, but we don't really focus on it. Our commercial work all stems from the residential work that we do, where we might be at somebody's house and they're like, "Oh, hey, I own the State Farm Ranch in Wake Forest. Can you take care of it?" And we're like, "Yes, absolutely." But we don't actively, solicit service work or replacement in the commercial world. We're really, really strong in residential. We really excel at it. So that's where we focus, right? I'm just a big proponent of find what you're really good at and do it to the best of your ability.
I love it. We were just having our team read the book Raving Fans. Have you read that book?
No, I haven't.
It's a great book, but that basically, in a nutshell, talks about picking one or two really good, and concentrate on that being the first, spread too thin. Mm-hmm. Because with customer service, great customer service, you create raving fans, and that's awesome. I would, question that I have, and again, I know enough to be dangerous. I know how to turn things on and off, but that's about it. Yeah. People say Terb's got a guy. In regards to HVACs and HVAC servicing, what would you think is the biggest thing you see with repairs? I know that could be anything, but what would you say the number one thing would be?
Oh, man.
Or the top, let's just say top couple things.
We run into, in the summer months, we run into a lot of systems that, have blown dual run capacitors in the outdoor units. A lot of systems that have refrigerant leaks and a lot of drain issues. In the winter months, it's typically more lack of maintenance, to be very candid. Mm-hmm. I would say that a good 70% of your no heating calls could be prevented with maintenance.
That's it. I mean, and that goes into the importance of that. The question I had is, what is the importance, obviously, of keeping it maintained? Because I think sometimes, time flies. Like, it's hard to believe it's already September. And how often, should they have the unit served?
I mean, we should be servicing your unit every year, whether you do both the cooling and the heating service at one visit, or you split that up and do them seasonally. But there's a lot of benefit to it. I know that a lot of people don't want to spend the money on it, right? But at the end of the day, having your system maintained, one, creates a higher level of efficiency. Two, it is preventative, and oftentimes, when we're doing a maintenance, we can bring certain things to your attention and recommend making repairs to be preventative. That way you don't get into the middle of July when it's 106 out and you have no AC.
I bet you're pretty busy during that time.
A little bit. Just a little bit, right?
Well, in saying that, so if you have a good, because I'm in their service plan every 6 months. So usually it's spring and fall. Mm-hmm. Actually, I think y'all coming out in a few weeks.
We are.
Check out the furnace, my heaters and all that. And my units are 19 years old right now. I mean, I bought them when they were 15, and they're doing well, knock on wood. But what I would ask you is, with a good maintenance plan, is there any data? Because I know things can break at any moment, but is there data that could say your units are going to last this much longer?
It's hard to quantify that, right? Because at the end of the day, so much of a system's longevity is one based off the original installation, right? The number one factor in a system's longevity and proper performance is a quality installation. If it wasn't installed correctly to begin with, using proper procedures and techniques, and materials for that matter, the system's lifespan is going to be shortened.
Do you see that quite a bit? Do you see units being?
Yes,
they just. Yeah, it's like, I always say, who you work with matters.
Yes, it does. I mean,
so similar to in our industry, there's all kinds of agents out there too. So okay.
I mean, I get it. Heating and air is not a fun expense for people, right? It's not like having your house painted where you can look at it and be like, man, that looks great, right? So people want to minimize the expense of what they're spending on their heating air conditioning systems. And it's a very expensive thing to begin with, to be very candid about it. So you find that people oftentimes seek out the lowest bidder. And at the end of the day, quality isn't cheap and cheap isn't quality. So oftentimes when you go with the lowest bidder, you end up with a pitiful install, to be very nice about it. And then the unit's problematic or doesn't cool correctly or heat correctly. And ultimately, you end up spending more money in the long run on top of all the aggravation you have from it not working correctly.
You knocked it out of the park there, man. I mean, I say the same thing with, we have a lot of great preferred vendors and contractors, and I let everybody know that at the end of the day they can use whomever they like. Obviously, we like to advise, but usually it's what you're paying is what you get. In regards to quality today or the equipment today, as far as energy efficiency and things like that, what would you say the difference is of, say, the units that I have on my home versus what you have today? And is there a big difference?
There is a difference, right? So a big part of the Biden administration has been a focus on clean energy, renewable energy, energy efficiency, rolling out federal tax credits for energy efficient systems. Today's systems are significantly more efficient than systems from 15, 20, 25 years ago. I will say that they're not as well built or reliable, to be very candid. I know that's not what people want to hear, but it's just the truth of the matter. Your older systems, I mean, those things they were tanks. I mean, you could beat the hell out of them and they would keep on running. But unfortunately, with, higher efficiency ratings, there's more controls in them. And frankly, the more components that are in something, you increase your likelihood of a breakdown. And it could be that the manufacturers realize, like, hey, why do we want to build a product that lasts 25 years when we can build a product that lasts 10 and sell twice as many? But
Makes sense.
Also is part of it is due to the efficiencies and the things that the manufacturers have to do to hit those efficiency ratings.
What's the oldest unit you've ever seen?
I have seen a couple of units from the 70s.
Wow.
Yes.
How long ago was that? That's amazing.
Yeah. Up until my last year at Hayes, we had a customer there that had what we call the York tombstone, because the outdoor unit literally looked like a tombstone. And it was from like 73. I would go out there every spring. I'd put a pound of refrigerant in it, and I wouldn't see him again until the next spring.
That's amazing.
I mean, just cool. I mean, he had a super open, modern house too, with lots of glass in it. And I mean, it just crushed that home. And then I've seen a couple of trains that were, they were actually GEs, but GE got bought out by Train in the 80s, in commercial applications.
So that's big time. So maybe I got some still time left to find. We'll see.
Yeah, maybe.
Tell us about your team, your company. How many people you have working for you, techs?
So we have a total of 24 people in our company, including me and my wife. We have 4 service guys. We have my sister Angela working in the office. We have an install manager and an install supervisor, and then the rest of the team is in the install department.
Well, I'll let you know the techs that you have are amazing. I know they're an extension of you, but when they come out personable, you can tell they're just very good at what they do, and also very quick to come out as well. Yeah. How many people do you think you guys are servicing right now? I mean, as far as
in terms of maintenance contracts, we probably have somewhere in the neighborhood of 600 to 800 residential contracts, probably 25, 30 commercial contracts. I think our client list overall is just over 4,000 people.
Wow.
So we've been very, very blessed with very aggressive growth over the last 5 years. And you're right though. Like we placed a very high priority on hiring people with the right intangibles, the right personality, work ethic. I will say that when I'm hiring somebody, I'm significantly less concerned with their skill set. I really focus on them as a person, their personality, their demeanor, their willingness to learn and take direction and correction, and people that are buying into what we're doing at Southern Seasons, because how we operate is different than the majority of my industry. So we just want to find people that believe in doing things the way we want them done and treating our clientele the way that we want them to be treated. I tell my guys all the time, when you're in a position and you're like, what do I do? Just ask yourself the simple question of, if it was your mom's house, what would you want somebody to do? If you do that, then you're always going to end up on the right side of it. We firmly believe and we live it. We don't just talk about it. but we're always going to do the right thing, right? If we make a mistake, we're going to fix it. But we're always going to do what we believe to be the right thing. And I think that if you conduct yourself in that manner, your reputation will spread, people will appreciate that, and your business will
No question.
thrive. I mean, it stings, when you have to go in and spend a chunk of money to correct an issue that might not even be of your making, but, at the end of the day, if that's what makes the customer happy and makes them feel good about, working with you and the purchase, that's what we're going to do.
And that led me to my next question, because I would pretty much answer is what separates you from your competition, but you pretty much nailed that right on the head.
There's two things that I would say that really separate us from our competition. First and foremost, I am intimately involved in the day-to-day operations of the business. Are you
still in the field? Do you do any?
Not a lot.
Mhm.
I go out for problem calls sometimes. I do meet with a lot of homeowners and builders and stuff like that. I don't get to fix stuff as much as I used to.
You like fixing stuff?
I do. I love it, man. I really do.
I like it.
I hate being in the office. I'm not even gonna lie about it. I'm not an office guy. I'm a field guy. But we're at a point where I need to be in the office to effectively manage and operate the business. But the reputation of the company I consider to be a direct reflection of me and my reputation. And frankly, it's not for sale. It's always going to be about doing the right thing. So I think that's the first thing that separates us. And then the second is kind of a two-part situation of one where we try really hard to be as fair in the pricing as we possibly can. We don't go out and jack the price up because we're at a big house, right? We charge the same thing regardless of where we are or when we are. We don't play these games where when we're in the summer, we jack our price up 30% and then bottom it down at 40% when we slow down. Our pricing stays the same. We just believe that, we should have set pricing, and that's where it should be. And then the second thing is our genuine concern for customer service and customer satisfaction. Me and my wife both came from a restaurant background. So customer service is kind of in our blood, if you will. But we've just tried to take things that we've learned through our life experiences and the places that we've worked and incorporate it into the kind of company that people want to do business with.
That's cool. Now, with Crystal, what is she? Explain what she does for the company.
So Crystal is the first point of contact for people that call. She handles the scheduling of all of our service and maintenance stuff. Handles the scheduling of, our quotes and things of that nature. Does a lot of the parts ordering and again, just the scheduling, whereas I oversee more of the install stuff with scheduling and ordering. And, I personally, like every new construction home we do, I personally design the system and the ductwork, everything in that home. I have looked at it, I've designed it, I've laid it out. And you just don't see that a lot, right? But I do take a lot of time and attention to the details of these homes because I want these homes to be perfect or as close to it as we can possibly get it,
No, she's fantastic as well. She's always there, answering the phone and getting stuff running. Why do you love what you do, man?
I love working with my hands, first and foremost. I always have. I like what I do. Because to be very candid, I'm good at it, and at the end of the day, my job is never going to get shipped off overseas or whatever. My job is not going to get replaced by AI, so I'm in a very safe and secure field. And at the end of the day, it's a trade that is woefully understaffed. There's more work than the companies can do. Every good company out here is busy as hell in the summer and can't keep up and stay relatively busy through the slow periods of time because they have a backlog of work or their reputation draws in people when the demand is not as high.
And then one thing I wanted to ask too, with installs or it's obviously good investment. I mean, required. What's funny is when you were saying they don't like till you walk in and there's no air.
Right.
It's pretty important then, right? Do you have any sort of financing programs or anything that you
We
offer?
do. Yes, we do offer financing through, through Synchrony Bank for our York systems that we install. While we do sell Train and Daikin and Mitsubishi, we don't have financing on all those options. It is something that we are working to get set up. I will tell you that a lot of our competitors, when they're out quoting, they lead with a payment, right? And I find that to be kind of disingenuous, again, to be nice about it, because at the end of the day, they're going to come into your home and they're going to say, hey, we can do this. And, you're going to have this payment of $350 a month. But then when you start doing the math on it and you realize what you're paying, it's brutal, right?
Yeah.
And, most of the companies that are offering 0% financing for whatever period of time, whether that be 2, 3, 4, 5 years, there is a fee that the bank is charging us, right? To be very transparent, like when we finance a system through Synchrony, that costs us almost 11%, right? Now we get a buyback from York for 6%, but that still leaves 5% on the table, right? Now the fees, when you go for 0% for 5 years, that fee is more in the 17 to 19% range, right? So if you're getting a quote from a company and they come out and they say, oh, well, this system's going to be, $12,000 financed at 0% for 5 years. You
really
can understand that $2,000 of that is directly going to the lender. So, with us, like we offer a discount for people if they're like have the ability to pay for it outright, right? Because I'm not a particularly greedy man. Yes, I'm looking to make a living and feed my family and the families of our employees. I don't feel like I need to get rich off of any one customer. So we're very transparent and we say, look, this is going to be, say $9,000 as a financed install, but if you can pay for it outright, we can knock off $450 for you. And again, going back to, it's not a fun purchase. So oftentimes we find that people pay for it outright because they recognize the value and the savings of not financing in it. And I get it. I mean, we all have financial constraints and sometimes we got to finance things, right? So we do have that option available to people, but we just, again, try to be transparent in all the things that we do.
No, I mean, actually, I just learned something there. Yeah. I mean, I appreciate you going in all that. It makes a lot of sense. And where do you see yourself in 5 years and with Southern Seasons?
So my goal, I'm 42 today. Oh, not today, but at the moment I'm 42. My goal by the time I'm 45 is for the company to be a well-oiled, self-sufficient machine that can operate without me in it day to day. To be 100% candid, my goal by the time I'm 45, I want to show up in the morning and be like, give me 3 or 4 problem calls. I'm going to go fix these things and nobody call me, right? Just let me go fix some stuff and leave me to my own devices over here.
I love it.
But that's truly what I want to do. I'm in the office because I have to be, not because I want to be. I want to be in the field, fixing things and interacting with our customers and building those
what you love.
Yeah. I mean, that's what I like doing.
Well, that's great, man. Well, you're on your way, and all my realtor friends that out there that be listening to this, because they're always asking. I mean, we all share. Make sure you guys reach out to Southern Seasons and with Anthony and Crystal. Tell them one more time how to reach out to you.
You can find us online at southernseasonsair.com. You can reach our office number at 919-271-7961. And you can email us at southernseasonsair@gmail.com.
That's awesome. You ready for some rapid questions?
Let's go.
Let's have some fun. Favorite food?
Ooh, Thai or Italian, depending upon my mood.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That sounds good. Favorite restaurant? It doesn't have to be local, but if you do have a local one.
No, my favorite restaurant is Valley High.
All right.
100%.
All right. Yeah. Cool. Favorite band?
Favorite band? Oh, man.
Could be a genre, or whatever.
I
know that one.
I'm a huge Chris Stapleton fan.
Okay.
And I would say that of all the singers in the world, Frank Sinatra is actually
Sinatra. All right.
I'm a big Sinatra fan.
How about a favorite cocktail?
Ooh, Manhattan on the rocks.
Well, favorite. Let's see. Favorite sports team.
Oh man, Florida State Seminoles football team.
Even though they're extra a little bit.
It's okay,
I'm a Panthers fan.
It's a tough time, man.
After 1 week, I was like, it's already over. Well, I knew it was gonna be over. We're heading down Saturday. We've had tickets from the beginning, and so but we're still going down and having dinner and go watch.
It's a great stadium. I mean, I love the Panther Stadium. You know, especially if you get seated on the right side where you get the nice view of downtown. You know, it's easy to get in and out of. You know, it's a good.
So why Florida State?
Just lucky, I guess. No, truthfully, my grandfather and grandmother retired to Florida, and my grandpa Harvey, and I love this man with all my heart. He was just the kindest, gentlest soul. He was a huge Bobby Bowden fan.
All right.
And, you know, I remember as a kid.
So was Charlie Ward, you remember? He was that year?
That was a little before.
I'm 45,
really got into it.
I remember.
You know, I wasn't, honestly, I wasn't a huge football fan when I was a kid. I was a huge baseball and basketball fan. But, you know, my grandfather loved Bobby Bowden, and it just rubbed off. And then I really started paying attention to college football a lot in 99 when they ran the table and just crushed everybody. And when you're pulling for a team and they just go out and, you know, stomp people.
Who was there? Was that when Winky?
Yes, that was Chris Winky. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a fan. We had him, drafted him. So, that's cool. So what do you like to do when you're not working?
When I'm not working, I tend to be at home, you know, with my wife and kids. You know, when I do have free time with nothing to do, I love the outdoors. I love to fish. I do like to play poker and shoot pool.
Hold 'em?
Yeah.
Nice.
Hold 'em or stud, whatever. You know, if I
remember that. I got a game. My buddy Michael Martin. He's my good friend and preferred lender, and we have a game. I think you've actually been out there to help him too. So
call me. I'll come play.
We have a good time. We play 1-1, so we have a good time. So what's a thing that one would maybe know they wouldn't know about you, like something like
oh man!
Like for example, I found out my brother-in-law, they own Woodplay, my sister and brother-in-law. So I had them on the podcast, and I had no clue he scuba dived. You know, so
I don't know. I mean, I think there's a million things that people wouldn't.
What's one that you can share?
I lived in Mexico when I was a kid for a few months.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, that was a very, very cool experience.
That's cool.
Yeah.
What was down their family?
My mother had a lot of racehorses, and we owned quite a bit of banana plantations, to be honest. And so we went down to oversee all that, and ended up staying for like 4 months.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
banana plant. That is cool.
Yeah. Tons of bananas in Mexico. People don't realize how much of our produce actually comes from
there. What's the best place you visited?
Oh man. I visited England and Scotland last year. I would say.
How was that?
The Highlands were the most beautiful thing I've ever seen in my life. But me and my wife went to a little island off the coast of Cancun called Isla Mujeres for our honeymoon, and I would say it's probably my favorite place in the world.
Dude, I have to check that out. Was it all inclusive or something?
It was, but
how do you say it again?
Isla Mujeres.
How did you find that?
We were just Googling it, and the island back then was still really kind of a fishing village. Yes, there were a few resorts, right? But now it's really starting to blow up. So I suspect that it's lost some of that charm, right? But it was just the people were amazing. The food was amazing. The water was
gorgeous. Could you fly? Did you fly to Cancun and then did you hop over there?
Or you fly into Cancun. You get in the cab with one of the crazy cab drivers that they have there, and you take a ferry.
A ferry. Oh, yeah. Cool. That's awesome. Where's a place you haven't been you want to go to?
Alaska.
Yeah, that's cool. We did a cruise and land package deal there when I was in high school. It's gorgeous, especially if you like fishing.
Yeah,
it would be enough salmon there to last you forever.
Yeah, I'm not a salmon fan.
No. What's your fish?
Tuna.
All right, cool.
The rarer, the better.
So, you could have dinner with 2 people, dead or alive. Who would it be?
Ooh, 2 people, dead or alive. Man. Wow, that's a very good question.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah,
Super Terb Podcast keep you on your toes.
Oh man, I would say probably Marcus Aurelius and MLK Jr.
Like it. That is cool.
Yeah, I mean both are great men.
Mm-hmm.
That had a huge impact on the world.
No
Whether
question.
we realize
I love it. That'd be very good conversations right there. And this is a question that I've asked everybody from the very beginning. Is the best advice you ever received and by who?
Oh man, my wife might shoot me for this, but the day I got married, my father pulled me to the side, and
How long have you been married?
I've been married for 12 years,
All
right? And he told me that in my marriage, I could be right or I could be happy, but I couldn't do both.
I love that. It's so good. This is awesome. Well, man, we appreciate you coming on the podcast. Again, everybody that's out there in the Triangle, Southern Seasons Heating and Air is the spot. Make sure you reach out to them. Tell them Terb sent you. You'll be very happy. Make sure you get your stuff maintained. I do it every 6 months or give or take, right?
Yeah.
And so if anything they can do to help you, please let us know. And, of course, let us know how we could be helping you accomplish real estate goals. Can't believe it's coming in. We're in the fourth quarter now. Actually, is it October? It's fifth. We're on the doorstep.
2 weeks.
Yeah, we're on the doorstep. But I can't believe it. This year's gone so fast. And spring market will be here, but it's not too late to get in there before everybody else gets off the fences. So let us know how we can help you. And if you're listening out there and you want to be on the podcast, local business owner, entrepreneur, reach out to me, shoot me an email. We'd love for you to come on and tell your story. And again, so it's Michael Turbot with Anthony Johnson of Southern Seasons Heating and Air.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Lost my train of thought there for a second. It's all good. Yeah. Again, Michael Turbot, your local real estate expert with the Turbot Group, a.k.a. Super Terb, a.k.a. Coach Terb. Remember, who you work with matters, and we'll see you next time.